over the man that nobody's exactly sure how to pronounce his name, but most of us call him Kaiji, the Estonian Zerg, who has a minor obsession with building hatcheries in people's main bases. A 3-2 victory over him, that doesn't really give me a lot of confidence with SortOf going into this season, but who knows. In the bottom right side of Blackburn, we're looking at the main base of the man hailing from Poland, previously known as Soul, now known as Spirit.
And spawning over in the bottom left-hand side, currently teamless, it is SortOf.
By the way, Ben, do you know who was also one series away from qualifying for the DreamHack Masters main event?
Who?
Soul Spirit. Imagine if that would have been a match in the main event. Soul Spirit versus Spirit. People would have been incredibly confused.
I think it's funny that, yeah, Soul, of all the names he could have renamed to, it was Spirit. And then you got this guy called Soul Spirit. It's probably like, what the hell is going on here? Like,
yeah,
this guy's ridiculous.
Soul Spirit must think that Spirit is actually playing a prank on him or something. And that is a French Zerg player who is honestly quite good, as Ben learned a couple of weeks ago when he participated in the EU Weekly.
Yeah, pretty damn good, actually. Like, he smashed me. Yeah, speaking of, like, Spirit is obviously a very good Terran. Did he finish top 8 last season? I know he knocked out Showtime, which was a bit of a surprise to a lot of people, but he obviously did it in crazy, weird fashion as well, like a lot of one-base all-ins and stuff, but he's one of those guys that plays a super clean TVZ, at least in practice games. He's one of the, one of the big practice partners of Cyril, and that definitely says something.
Yep, he did make top 8 and then he lost against Clem. I wasn't exactly sure about it, but I looked it up for you. So top 8 finish, obviously something to be proud of. I did disagree with you calling him an up-and-comer though. Like, that goes too far for me.
He's been around myself.
Yeah, he's been around for so long. Like, he's just one of the best Terran players in Europe. That's what he is. And it does feel like we haven't seen the best of him yet. But he is an established name in the European scene, even though he changed his name recently. But after being competitive for all these years, I mean, I think it's been over 3 years ago, over 4 years ago almost, that he beat Stats at the Intel Extreme Masters Katowice in the open bracket back then. So he eliminated the guy who was the runner-up of that entire tournament the year before. I mean, we can't really call him an up-and-comer anymore.
No, we can't. And it's also one of those things where I know we've all been like, he has the potential and stuff. I feel that top 8 last season is probably like a massive weight off his shoulders. Because I know a lot of people, like, if everybody knows that you're good and you know you're good, but you haven't been able to show it, be it nerves or pressure or whatever, that kind of placing, especially beating a player like Showtime to, you know, really set it all off, I think that can be also a bit of a break-free moment for Spirit.
Yeah. I think top 8 is something he can live with. I think something he can be proud of. Nice job here, picking off one of the creep tumors with his Reaper, and the Reaper didn't even get close to dying. But I am still waiting for that one time where he truly outperforms all the expectations, right? And perhaps even surprises himself a little bit. Because we've seen Marine Lord break into the top 4. We have seen, obviously, Lambo have a top 4 finish. We've seen Max Pax have a top 4 finish. I kind of feel that Spirit has the skills to get it done too. He may not be a top 4 player in Europe, but after all these seasons, you kind of just hope for him that one time he goes all the way. And it's not like a solid top 8, but it's an amazing top 4 or even better.
I mean, it's ridiculously hard to make the top 4. I mean, even making the top 8 these days is ridiculously hard. We had players like Lambo and Alazer not make the top 16, which was freaking nuts when you think about how good those guys are. This Reaper in the main did get a decent scout off, did get picked off though. That does mean that these Hellions, when they're poking and stuff, will be a bit trickier, given that they don't have that punching bag that regenerates with them.
I do obviously agree with that. Making top 4 is super hard, but yeah, if you want to mess with the big boys, if you want to be considered one of the very best in Europe, those are kind of the results you want to get. Maybe not consistently, but just getting it once would obviously be that one run we can talk about for a long time. Because now we always talk about, yeah, Soul is really good and he practices with Cyril, but we obviously much rather have that the commentators say Soul made top 4 in the DreamHack Masters, whatever season it may be. Anyway, it's a very standard opening. I like to call this the big game special when it comes to game playing against the Zerg that he feels is not on his level. And oh yeah, that goes for most of them out there. Loves opening up Heli and Cloak Banshee.
I love that any excuse you can get, you just whip out a Gabe. Is this the most popular Gabe opening even in TVZ these days?
If Gabe plays against anyone that's not Serral, Raynor, or maybe Lambo Elaser, I feel like this is pretty much his go-to. Like 99% of the time. Unless he just feels like switching it up because he wants to have some fun, but I've seen Gabe do Heli and Cloak Banshee so many times. Because it's just safe, right? It's safe, and if your execution is good, you will find damage.
I mean, it is a super good opening. It's one of those where you can't really die to anything. I mean, Roach Ravager all-in can potentially get you earlier on with the Ling Flood and stuff, but yeah, it gets you to where you want to be. Spirit is a late game player. These Banshees immediately get 4 drones as well. That's already a really good start for the Terran.
Yeah, it's kind of cool how early he activated Cloak, right? Like, it almost feels like a mistake, but that obviously makes sure that these units don't show up on the Mimi map, and it's unlikely that SortOf is randomly looking somewhere in the center. I mean, this is damage, man. 9 drones have gone down. Even that Queen is taking some damage. Can we at least get 1 Banshee? We should be able to get 1 Banshee.
Oh my goodness, it's not in vision, or rather it's cloaked out of range of the Spore Crawler, so it's 10 drones, gets out with both of them as well. And he's dealing with the creep spread pretty decently as well. It's got to say, yep. Spirit is playing a very textbook and good textbook TVZ. Oh, that's a bit dangerous.
12 crypto minutes have already gone down. Now, obviously, SortOf did have a lot of queens out on the map. But I look at this army and I'm like, well, that's actually a pretty feisty army with only 8 Banelings. I hope for SortOf that he can get a little connection with the Marines, because if these 8 Banelings don't connect, he's going to morph 12 more now, but now he barely has any links.
Yeah, I mean, also 1-1 is just about to finish for Spirit as well. I mean, it's a nasty situation with SortOf. He's got up to 1,000 minerals now that he can't spend. And how much lava does he have? He still has a lot of lava, but it's rough, man. I love the Queen's tanking. That is something for sure, but the tank target fire, these Banelings are getting absolutely chonked here.
Yep, I mean, he doesn't want to commit any further because he feels he's just never going to connect with the Marines. At least getting the 2 tanks is nice. Spirit throws down another scan on the high ground. I mean, the difference in macro is quite telling. And this fight is obviously going to take place with 1-1. Banelings hoping to connect with the Marines. I feel like Spirit he has lost 0 Marines so far, and the reinforcements have arrived. This is the second wave that people often talk about. And it's going to get harder and harder for SortOf, because now being on 71 drones doesn't even feel that good anymore. Oh,
no, it doesn't. And look at that spread as well. That's all off creep, by the way. You really want your creep to be out as far as possible. These drones are like, well, we really want to mine here, but there's 3 Marines. I love that as well. Not 8 Marines or so. Still respecting the army of SortOf, but right now Spirit's just growing behind us as well. And look, started his +2 weapons. He is neglecting the +2 armor, but I don't blame him considering how well this push has gone.
SortOf is going to try to make a little bit of magic happen with, I don't know if I can call it a run-by, but it is pretending to be a run-by. It's like 7 or 8 links. That's going to get completely shut down. And even though the supplies may be close, it feels like this first game is all Spirit. He's got a tiny drop in the main base too. SortOf does take care of that. And he's kind of stabilizing. Now he gets a big wraparound. Can he get close to a couple of these Marines? Unfortunately, the Banelings do not get close.
If SortOf survives this, which it looks like he's gonna, he could actually find himself in not a bad situation here, which I didn't expect to happen. The one really rough thing for him is his drone count hasn't been high during all of this. It was like the same as the Terran. And Spirit, he is expanded behind all of this as well. He's not all in by any means.
I love how hopeful you are sometimes. I mean, I love good games too, but I don't really see it here. 10 drones go down, another Queen gets picked off. There are still a lot of Marines and a tank in the bottom side. SortOf is going to try to pounce on his army in the top side. They get somewhat of a cleanup, but he lost more units than he actually killed. The Banshees are going to down on the hatchery in the top left side with a Liberator that's going to show up too. And
oh, that tank on the low ground as well behind it all. Yeah. I mean, Spirit's actually playing really damn well. Like, and look at the resources lost have as well. He's actually lost like a third of the Zerg, and I mean, that's the dream situation here. 28 drones have gone down, maybe. Oh, can't even get that.
Yep, it was pretty obvious that Spirit at first was looking at the army in the main, sort of was hoping to get lucky there in the top left side, or top side rather. It did not quite work out. Look at these Marines go. Eventually, they're going to have to disengage. But yeah, at this point, Spirit just realized he's maxed out. Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Sort of obviously just having a hard time keeping up here, but Spirit is playing a phenomenal game. +2 really shining there as well. He's up 80 supply.
I mean, this little attack in the main base is actually amazing. Like, this is what, 30 supply that's actually just causing sort of a world of trouble. And Spirit's doing everything else as well, even using a lot of scans just to make sure that nothing else is going on. He's like, this is going pretty well for me, eh? And he's just moving out with bigger armies all the time and sort of knows it. GG.
Wow, domination. I mean, Spirit killed 50 drones in this game and lost 0 SCVs. I think that's very telling. He was the one dictating the pace of the game. He just got pickoffs left, right, and center. That tank on the low ground in the slow zone had 22 kills. I think, yeah, this good stuff by Spirit. And sort of is gonna have to turn things around. Maybe believe in the roaches or the ravages or something. Because I feel if we're gonna play another game like this, maybe on a different map than Blackburn, there's a chance sort of finds himself in an easier spot. But getting the gold is always nice. Until you realize that defending that mineral line is actually pretty tricky. And once you're out of position once, or you take one questionable fight in the center, it feels like the Terrans just run away with it.
Yeah, I mean, like those 2 Banshees as well, 10 kills, then keeping them alive, then they came back in that top left base. They were value for money. But the pushers as well, like Spirit just looked very solid. And especially once those drops started happening, if I didn't have a nameplate on him, I'd have been like, that was Clem playing, you know? Like, none of those banelings connected whatsoever. He was picking up in time everything. Like, he never gave sort of a chance to get into it, which is the big deal. Like, it sort of just got one moment there, maybe, but didn't let him have it. It was actually a really damn good game by the Terran.
I go with a compliment almost as big as that. And I say it was a little more like Gabe. Because there were some moments where... Yeah, because there were some moments where we know if Clem was playing, he would have tried to pick up every single baneling before they came close. And Sol played it a bit safe. He's like, I'll just go for the pickup.
All right, it was more like Gabe. You're right.
Yeah, right. And that's, I mean, obviously the biggest compliment any Terran could receive.
I mean, that's still a massive compliment. Like he's the top. We talked about the top 4, and we talked about Spirit maybe getting to the top 4 at one point. Like that's what he wants to aim for, right? And yeah, comparing him to Big Gabe, I mean, that's where it all starts off. Now, Romanticide will be the second map. Spawning over in the bottom right, representing Kaisi Gaming, it is Spirit. Being cheeky as well, Kev. Cheeky.
Sending out an SCV already. In the top left side, we're looking at the main base of a man who's also a veteran of this game. He's been playing for such a long time. Hailing from Sweden, back in Europe, it is SortOf.
Is this just one SCV out on the map? I think it is, right?
Yeah.
Very unusual. I dare say it's just going to be like a fast Reaper at his opponent. I'm going to hope that he like misreacts or something, or maybe scouts it with an Overlord and then thinks it's 2 or 3 racks.
I mean, he's building it right in the path of this Overlord. Could this be 200 IQ Big Brain Gaming by Spirit, where he has analyzed the Overlord movement of SortOf? And he knows that the Overlord is going to go here and then SortOf might panic and react like you would against 2 racks or 3 racks, while it's actually just 1 barracks gas. Could that be it?
I think it could be. I mean, if he has gone full 200 IQ that level, which, yeah, SortOf now scouts just 1 barracks, right? And he kept out of it.
Cancels the gas.
Cancelled his gas, yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. But wait. But he's going for a Marine here, so it is... Yeah, I mean... He's selling it. He's selling it all the way.
Yeah, this is actually very cool. SortOf is now already sending drones to the low ground. Take a look at the natural SortOf, guys. Oh, Spirit with a big brain move here on the Romanticide. SortOf is waiting to receive SCVs. He's like, hey, man, I got you. I know what's coming. Spirit is like, nope, I've got you all along. In before he builds the spine crawler. My god! Oh my god, look at this! Oh, Spirit, this is actually very sexy stuff.
You know, I've always felt that Spirit is exceptionally good mechanically, right? But this is actually next level. Like, if this was all... I mean, superb play.
Yep.
It's
I mean,
great
sort
to
of
see.
at this point must know. He's like, wait a minute, I think I'm getting jebaited over here. There's a Reaper. Cancel your spine then, sort of. I know you don't have Zergling speed, but I'd love to see him cancel that spine crawler though.
I mean, if he doesn't cancel it, then what's he think? He's thinking it's like, wow, okay, he's thinking it's like a follow-up, like 3 racks or 2 racks Reaper kind of thing as well. I mean, this is maybe the biggest bamboozling of the century.
Yes. Reaper looking for creep tumor, gets the creep tumor as well. Man, Spirit is it's making me a fan over here, if I wasn't a fan yet of good old Piotr. But everything he's done so far in this best of 3 has turned into gold.
Yeah, and like the funny thing is, this game, this isn't Clem or Hero Marine. This is Spirit. Like him going for the 1 barracks in the path of the Overlord and hoping for this kind of misreaction. You don't see this every day at all.
No, very cool. Sort of has taken an extractor now in the natural, but he's still not mining any gas, so he's going to be gasless forever. Is there a chance, since we have a pretty quick starport too, that we open up with a medevac here? I'd love that, because then I think there's a good chance Zergling speed is obviously not going to be ready forever, and there is so much potential here for a Hellion drop.
I think so. Oh, he's just going to go for a tech lab. You know what? I think any move that he makes from this position isn't bad. But yeah, I was with you. I think it's one of those things for Spirit where it's like, did he like forgo gas mining so hard? Like if he just cancelled his extractor entirely, you can never truly know. But yeah, a lot of 2 racks follow-ups. The Hellion drop's really good afterwards.
Well, obviously Cloak Banshees are going to be great too if we do get Cloak Banshees once more. Second creep tumor just got picked off there. Poor SortOf is having just a very, very tough time here. We'll see if he can turn it into something. Don't even really know, like, what's something that SortOf could do from this spot, Ben? Just make drones and be bulletproof against the Hellions and the Banshees? Is that all you can really ask for?
I mean, he runs in here and he's like, wow, that's a 3rd CC right there. Like, it's just rough, right? Like, but you're asking me what can SortOf do? Try and make it go to a point where the early game didn't matter at all, which is late game, and just play from there really. And it's a tall order because his 3rd base was late. Just everything was late. This drone count isn't as high as it wants to be, but if he can make it go late, he absolutely has a shot. Because Romanticide, it isn't a bad map for those late game situations for Zerg.
Nope. Actually, I really love late game TVZ on the Romanticide. Like, I know the map has been around for a while, and obviously all of us would wish for some newer maps, but Romanticide still just gives us beautiful StarCraft. If things are even 8-9 minutes in. The problem is things are not that even. How many Zerglings do we have out on the map? Only 10. I mean, it's very good news here for SortOf that Spirit didn't decide to send it into the natural, because 10 Zerglings would have had a hard time against those aliens.
Yeah, Spirit being very respectful there, feeling like, this is too good to be true, right? And he did force out 10 links there from SortOf, so that was 5 less drones, that's something that he got done with that. He's got upgrades on the way, got Stim almost done, Cloak almost done as well, and these Banshees as the next wave of threats that SortOf has to deal with.
Yeah, I did see a Spore Crawler go down in the main base, so that's nice, and SortOf has a Spore in the natural too. No Spore on the 3rd. That's an interesting macro hatchery. I hope for SortOf that he takes out the rocks in the center. Otherwise, I'm afraid tanks are going to be right in range of that bad boy. The problem with the Spore in the main is that it doesn't really cover the mineral line. Oh no, these Banshees are going to town. This is going from bad to worse.
Wow, I mean, considering that a lot of drones there survived with 1 hit remaining, that was actually a bit of fortune going SortOf's way. But yeah, I mean, that was a Liberator Banshee. Just, you know, he didn't know what he was up against. And Spirit again with the Cloak Banshees, a very solid follow-up behind all this. He's just on point, man. He's on point. Like, this has been a really cool series to watch from if you're a Spirit fan out there, or if you didn't know him, then it's like, oh wow, this is a new Terran to look out for.
As you know, I'm a big MMA fan, and they often give out bonuses, which I think is kind of cool, where it's like performance of the night and stuff. I think we would give the performance of the night to Spirit today, at least when it comes to the DreamHack Masters Europe, because we've had some fun StarCraft, but this is just looking incredibly solid from him. I feel like he's made no mistake in both games so far. We're 8 minutes into game 2, and it's been about as close to flawless as it could have been.
Yeah, and it's also just cool, right? Like, it's been cool. It's just more rounded than I've ever seen him. Just it's very nice to see his evolution, and this is the kind of Spirit when everybody was talking about him being like, oh yeah, he's really good, like he can play really damn well. This is the kind of guy that people talked about that they were playing in practice, man. Like, it's just good.
Yeah, everything working out. I'm really worried about SortOf's macro hatch because the rocks have not been taken out yet in the center. And how many times haven't we seen tanks siege up there? And the tanks are going to be literally in the range of that hatchery. So a bit of an awkward spot. I guess the nice thing about it is that reinforcements will almost participate in fights immediately. Seems like SortOf is going to try to plant down a Hydra then. Maybe turn this into a little bit of a lurker game. But he's going to have a hard time keeping this base safe in the bottom side. Upgrades in favor of Spirit at this point. Creep is going to get denied. We have a couple of Lings and Banes, but with these tanks there, a couple of safety Helvets, 2 still from the early game. What are the Banshees up to?
Let's have a look. I think they're being kind of defensive, I think, but yeah, just a little bit defensive here. Spirit's moving out with a lot of his bio, his tanks as well. Those Banshees are here to deal with those Banelings pretty decently, and they do just that.
Yeah, we lose a couple of Marines, but obviously no big deal. Spirit is paying attention to his army in the bottom left side. The tank shots in the heart of the Baneling pack are magnificent. I believe during all of this, we've got a tiny drop unloading at the fort base as well. And yeah, this is just really not SortOf his day. Once more has lost almost 5,000 resources. Spirit only losing 1,100 so far. A couple of Baneling connections there are decent, but these tanks are completely uncontested. 20 kills, 18 kills, 7 kills. There is no stopping Spirit here. Performance of the night award goes to, I think, the man from Poland.
Absolutely. He's even taken a 4th base behind all this. I even like the little depot that he made at the bottom of this ramp where he's like, you know what? This is a vision depot. Reminds me of Warcraft 3. That might have been the first mistake right there from him, but everything else has gone super well. I mean, this is actually a nice cleanup by SortOf by the looks of it. Just buying a bit of time, but it's been rough.
Yeah, but we have lost 18 drones at home. We're going to lose a few more. We are potentially going to lose this hatchery. I don't know if the Link... No, the Lynx may be able to save it. Not quite. So we are going to lose the hatch still. Yeah, decent fight in the bottom left, but felt like we gave out 1 point, but received 3 in return.
Yeah, and Spirit isn't slowing down, man. Like that fight that he cleaned up in the bottom left, it's like, well, I'm back here and I'm just going to attack your hatchery and your whole army's here.
Oh my goodness.
And it's just brutal.
Yeah, it really is brutal. If I was a referee, I would step in at this point and be like, it's too much. The count to 10 is like, purple? It's like, no, can't fight anymore. SortOf is going to try, though, to stay around a little bit longer. At least the Hive is almost done, and I hope for SortOf that he could stabilize with a couple of Lurkers, maybe a Viper or 2. But it's going to be hard.
It is going to be hard, and I think the reason that SortOf's still alive is mainly because Spirit is like, well, I'm going to play late game. I saw like 3 or 4 command centers on the way. He's getting ranged liberators very randomly. Ghost Academy as well. He's like, oh yeah, you've bounced off all this. This really signals to me that he's like played against maybe Cyril in practice, and he's like, well, Cyril, like I really had to advance from here, you know. But SortOf's he's a wounded animal at this point.
Yeah, but I mean, Spirit must know that. Come on, he's such an experienced player. He must know how far ahead he is. I think he's just gonna have some fun. He's like, I was looking forward to this best of 3. I want to get ready. But sometimes when you play with fire, you do get burned. I mean, don't let a Zerg on 90 drones just get up to Vipers and multiple Lurkers, because then there is always a chance. And you mentioned it before, you can get to a point where the early game doesn't matter. Well, maybe ultra late game, Widow Mines. Oh my god, why not?
What's the resources lost have at this game? I mean, Spirit's just been trading so damn well, and that Widow Mine was that was a juicy boy. I think that was like almost the maximum number of Banelings you can get in a shot, and yeah, SortOf just nothing's going his way, like nothing at all.
Nope. But I mean, we have Hive Pen. We've got 1 Viper out. We've got 130 Zerglings.
It's tough when your game plan is like, okay, I'm gonna get to Lurkers, right? And then it's like, okay, I'm at Lurkers, but your opponent's got ranged Liberators already out, and, you know, Ghost Tech as well.
This is like one of the most unnecessary I'm gonna play ultra late game PvZ scenarios I've seen. I mean, if nothing happens in the next 2 or 3 minutes, then SortOf still has more than a chance Because I do believe in the power of sort of his late game. I mean, the Liberators are going to be a nightmare because they do have advanced ballistics. So just a Sport Crawler or a Queen, that may not necessarily always be enough.
No, I mean, these Liberators alone are really damn hard to deal with. We're also going to have... Oh, this Widow Mine, is it going to be big? Oh, not bad at all. It's going to be 3-3 against 2-2 as well. And I mean, look at this. This is just... Spirit's having fun, man. He really is.
Yeah, if I'm SortOf, I think I'll throw in the towel at this point. Even if you still have 72 drones and you still have a bit of an army, so Spirit's army is ridiculously good. There are Liberators everywhere, sieging up different bases with advanced ballistics, which just makes them a bit harder. +3 attack is done for the Polish Terran, and he's even firing up his first nuke. I wouldn't want to be part of this.
No, yeah, I like the nuke as well. I mean, that's when you feel really good. Look at his bank as well. Like, that is starting to climb. It's expanding a lot. The first lurkers are on the way, which is... That's cool. That's a sign of life from SortOf. And he's got a decent drone count as well. The thing is, can he survive? Because Spirit is taking this game really slow right now.
Yeah. I mean, if we had a couple of Vipers, if at this point you give SortOf 4 Vipers, max out on energy, I'd be like, oh, there's always a chance. I mean, he's got drones, he's got bases. He is going to run forward here into the Liberators, and he's actually going to push Spirit back. And for the first time in this game, Spirit, his supply is plummeting a little. And there's still a big army to worry about in the top right side. That one Ghost is going on a journey. It's going to try to land a nuke. Spirit's even dropping a second Ghost Academy. I mean, it would definitely be a painful one if this one slips away. Because I don't think we had to be here, Bam, but we are here. We are going to get a nuke. And I'm going to take a look at SortOf his vision to see if he knows where it is. He's checking his bases at this point. He has checked every base. Now he knows, yeah.
Now he knows. Now he knows. Spotting that, and no drones were lost here, which is definitely nice for him. But when your opponent starts nuking you, you kind of know, like, oh, he's at that stage already. Like, SortOf still just trying to get going. And look at this. These Liberators, man. Oh. It's a brutal... This is a really rough game for SortOf. But the thing is, Spirit has played really damn well. I do think he sort of toying with his food a little bit, but maybe he's just feeling comfortable. It's nice to get used to the main stage life, you know?
Yeah, that's true, but at this point we have a big army in the bottom left. We've got a double drop in the triangle base. Liberators are racking up kills left, right, and center. SortOf at least wants to kill this planetary, and he will be able to pick one base off. But we know there is never a shortage of command centers on the side of Spirit. This is something that even Saul used to do before he became Spirit.
Absolutely, absolutely. The supply's just dwindling though. Like SortOf, 140, just can't make anything happen. And Spirit just looked really damn good, man. GG is